What's up, everybody? I hope you're all having a great day out there today. We're going back to reviewing the Making a Murderer series. It's been a bit since I've done a video on the actual series. Last time we left off, we were in season 2, so this is part 13 of this particular series. It is episode 3 from season 2 of Making a Murderer on Netflix. Now, you've probably seen a couple of wrestling videos pop up over the last couple of days on the weekend. That's from the last tour that I did filming. So just remind everybody, you will see some wrestling videos pop up on the channel every now and again. That's what this channel was built on for the last 15 years. So I'm definitely not going to abandon that. It's really, people in my local area really love it. The people that can't get to the shows, they really like seeing the videos online. So you'll always see a mix of this mixed with local professional wrestling, maybe some other stuff, but those will be the two big things. Kathleen Zellner starts out by saying, "I don't know why people are so worried. If he's guilty, I'll fail, but if he's innocent, I'll get him out." And I've heard her say that a number of times. I've heard her say something along the lines of, "You have to be crazy to hire me if you're guilty, because I will find out." Brendan's mother, Barb, and Scott Tydak state the reason why Bobby Dassey, Brendan's brother, doesn't go visit Brendan in jail is because he has a son to take care of. And sure, while that may be part of the reason, or at least the reason they want to believe, of course, he is allegedly wildly considered to be one of the main suspects of the people that actually did the killing. And if you were to ask me, I think out of all of everything that I've seen, read, watched, and all of that, he's probably the most likely suspect. I get that there's a lot of other theories out there, but for me, all roads seem to point to Bobby Dassey. Man, I could be very, very wrong, but I don't know. That's just what it looks like to me at this point in time. One of Brendan's lawyers, Laura Nyrider, states, to free Brendan, we have to upend an entire system that is in favor of keeping the current verdict in place. They have to show that the state made an unreasonable mistake, meaning they have to prove that the state did something either on purpose or by mistake that is big enough to be able to free Brendan Dassey, and that would have to be something huge. Brendan's legal team also states that winning in federal court is the equivalent of a legal miracle. Then we have Len Kaczynski show up in the documentary. I'm not surprised. I'm honestly surprised Ken Kratz didn't actually agree to be interviewed for this so he could tell his side of the story. He definitely seems to be the one that cares the most. I mean, he wrote a book about it, so I'm surprised he didn't appear in the documentary. Even, I don't know when that book came out, if it was season 2 had aired yet, but I bet you if there's a season 3, there's a good chance you might see Ken Kratz in it. Who knows? But Len Kaczynski states, this case is over. He said if Dassey chose to cooperate with the state, he could have cut his time in half. Or, if you did your job correctly the first time around and didn't work directly with the prosecution, allegedly, Brendan might not be in prison to this day. You were clearly in cahoots with the prosecution. I mean, that is made painfully obvious in the first season of Making a Murderer. You did absolutely nothing to help Brendan Dassey and his case. Nothing. If anything, you made it worse. I mean, you did do something, I guess, with his confession, but man, everything else you did just set Brendan Dassey's case down a river of problems and trouble. Just a horrible thing. Horrible thing. He was very unlucky to get you hired as a lawyer, Len Kaczynski. Allegedly. Teresa Halbach's brother said on the day Brendan Dassey was sentenced that it will be the last time for the next 41 years that he ever thinks about Brendan Dassey or Stephen Avery at all. Now, I get why he's saying that, meaning he's going to put it behind him. He doesn't want to think about this anymore. But I don't really think that that was necessarily the best way to put that. To me, that comes across that you're not going to think of your sister and what happened to her for the next 41 years. How could you not think of your sister every day and what horrible thing happened to her for the next 41 years? I don't know. Maybe he just chose a bad choice of words, but there wouldn't be a day that went by that I didn't think, if I thought, and he clearly does, if I thought Brendan Dassey and Stephen Avery committed this terrible crime, there wouldn't be a day that went by that I didn't think about my sister and what happened to her. I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just a bad choice of words. Maybe he just wasn't really in the right frame of mind to be speaking to the media. I don't know, but I thought that was a really weird thing to say. Kathleen Zellner states that this is one of the all-time stupid cases. She has absolutely no idea how the prosecution put this together, meaning she has no idea how the prosecution threw all this evidence together and was able to win this case. She believes that, obviously, that Stephen is innocent, and when you look at the evidence, it's absolutely bonkers and clear that a lot of it was planned. A lot of it makes absolutely no sense. Kathleen Zellner hired one of the top burning body guys in the country, John DeHaan, who is a forensic fire scientist. They cut to a scene of Scott Tydak on the stand talking about how the flames were as tall as the garage. They were 50 feet tall and 600 feet wide. It was the Titanic of flames. No, he didn't actually say that. He said that the flames were as tall as the garage and said he saw Stephen Avery standing next to the fire. John DeHaan states the size of the fire controls the height of the flame. Gas burns off in a few minutes and it will burn the skin of a body. Then the fire goes out. To have a fire of that size, you need to have a fuel tank, meaning like a big fuel tank, not just a gas can. You need to have a fuel tank, not just some tires. Kathleen Zellner states there's a complete absence of any fuel source that would have burned the body to the state it was found in. John DeHaan is positive that the Avery pit/garage was not the primary burn site. Kathleen Zellner wonders why there's no pictures of the discovery of the bones. That is a solid question. I would assume, I'm not a cop, I'm not a detective, I'm not an investigator, but I would assume that you would want to photograph and document everything. And if you are finding the victim's bones, you are absolutely going to want to document that, right? How is there no pictures? That's crazy. John DeHaan states a burn barrel would have done this type of destruction, meaning the state that Teresa Halbach's body was found in. Kathleen Zellner's team talks about the burned body. The agent, the person that found the bones earlier in the same day, went to deer camp. At the trial, he mentions a couple of burn barrels, but his report is very brief. It's very short, very small. Only mentions one barrel, and he didn't write the report until 16 days later, and he listed no times for arriving or leaving. I believe it was James Link that showed up to the Avery salvage yard and didn't sign in, but he did sign out. So that seems to be a little bit of a trend here with people not signing in or out of places that they go to look for evidence, to get evidence, to, I don't know, maybe allegedly plant evidence, allegedly. Kathleen Zellner states they don't find any bones until November 8th. Then they suddenly appear in the burn pit, obviously planted. The report on November 7th states the cadaver dogs alerted on a suspected burial site west of the Avery property, right off Cuss Road. On the 8th, the dogs alerted by the burn area in Avery's backyard. That tells you that the bones were obviously carried and transferred from that place to Avery's yard. Josh Randit, who controls the quarry. Now, they never said owned. They always said controlled. So I don't know if he's like a property manager or something, or if he actually owns the quarry. The dogs alerted to a burn barrel on his property. He gave a statement on November 5th before anyone knows what actually happened to Teresa Halbach's body, and claimed to see a fire on Avery's property. Kathleen Zellner states he is the first person that links Avery to this crime. Stephen Avery talks about being upset with Dean and Jerry, his original lawyers from season 1. Stephen Avery talks about being upset with Dean and Jerry, his original lawyers, the lawyers featured in season 1, stated that if they were doing what Kathleen Zellner is doing right now, then he wouldn't be sitting in prison to this day. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I could definitely see why Stephen Avery thinks that. He's been in prison. He's innocent. He believes now his lawyers didn't do everything that they could do, but also Kathleen Zellner can claim ineffective counsel on the part of Jerry and Dean and use that towards getting Stephen Avery a new trial as well. So that could be the reason why they are saying that. And then on August 12th, 2016, a federal judge overturns Brendan Dassey's murder conviction. A judge states the confession was involuntary. Obviously, anybody with a set of eyes or ears can tell you that that confession was obviously coerced, obviously involuntary. He was fed every word of what the detectives, the investigators, the interviewers wanted to hear. Man, what? I remember hearing about that when it actually happened in 2016, and I was very excited, very happy for Brendan. He's used all his appeals. Again, I don't know fully how the Wisconsin legal system works. It's different in every state, and I'm in Canada. So, it's unfortunately he's used all his appeals. I don't know how they go about getting him out of prison. I know that the governor can grant him clemency. I don't know if they find a brand new piece of evidence that proves 100% that he's innocent, if he gets out that way, but I sure hope that happens, and happens soon, for Brendan Dassey. But that's the end of this particular episode, episode 3 of season 2 of Making a Murderer. Let me know what you think of this episode. I'll be back with either a book review or episode 4 real soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.